This Crestwood Cadet Coach Conversation brought to you by Wilson Custom Tree Service. We're with Cadet Coach Justin Denner. And last Friday night, Osage came to town, defeated the Cadets 20-10. What were your takeaways from the game, Coach?
Yeah, all credit goes to Osage there. They had a great game plan and executed it really well. They were able to do some things, offensively that they hadn't been able to do, um, uh, up to this point because they got their stud quarterback back and streak from an injury, and that definitely gave them a jolt of good things. But ultimately, we didn't play very well. We didn't execute very well. And a lot of that falls on us, but Osage did a good job of making us uncomfortable with different things both on both sides of the ball. And they hit some big plays. They hit a long touchdown pass right before half to put them up 13-0. And then we had when we kind of settled in, and then they hit another long pass on a broken coverage in the second half there to put them up 20-3. And from there it was, us trying to climb out of the hole, and we did some good things, but we just didn't have enough to, overcome it. And so, sometimes that happens and is what it is. And we've got to, learn from it and move on.
And I know it's dangerous to assume things just looking at a stat sheet, but I saw Osage had 12 tackles for a loss and 4.5 sacks. Would that indicate that they were putting you off schedule a lot offensively?
Yeah, absolutely. They did a great job of taking away some of the things that we wanted to try and do, whether it be, versus, just how they lined up, or just dudes being dudes, and taking away some things with just, making plays. And then we had to, we were behind the sticks quite a bit, so then we had to throw it a lot more than we wanted to. And, they did a good job of putting pressure on, and, doing enough on the back end to make us hold the ball a little bit longer than we needed to. And, get some sacks and some turnovers. We turned the ball over 3 times, which will never leads to ever, good things. And, yeah, absolutely. Their defense played outstanding, and, hats off to them.
Of the things that you can control, what are the lessons your team needs to learn moving forward based on last Friday night's performance?
Yeah, ultimately, I think there's a lot of things both physically and mentally that we can try and get better at. Physically, playing at the proper level, playing with the proper technique. When things aren't going your way, not panicking and abandoning what we've been taught, but rather focusing more on the fine details. It's just some situations where we were stepping wrong with the offensive line, or we were, playing too high in the backfield, or trying to do too much or whatever, rather than just focusing on our job. There. And then, mentally as well, like just every game's important. Every game is its own thing, and what we've done in the past is not uh, a direct indication of who we are, but it's also not going to impact or influence what we do the following week. Right. And so, we've had that in terms of losses, in terms of, we've, been able to respond and recover. And then, we come off of a win. And, not saying that, we were overlooking people or anything like that, but it's one of those deals where that's that lesson of, yep, okay, what happened last Friday, whether good or bad, is immaterial. It's about what we got coming up. And we need to make sure we put all of our attention to that. And, I told the guys, last couple of days that, if we don't learn anything from last Friday, then last Friday was a complete waste of time. But if we can gather something from it, then that means what happened was needed, because then we learned and we got better, and so forth there. But it's up to them to make sure that we learn something from it. So,
But when you're looking ahead to the next 2 weeks, if you're able to take care of business, you guys can still do a lot of positive things in these last couple of weeks. Is that part of the message too?
absolutely, absolutely. And we talked about that, and we talked about it right away after the game, Friday. Like, everything that we want to try and accomplish is still on the table. None of that's gone away with, what happened this past Friday. Granted, is it a lot harder? Yep. But there's still a chance, right? There's still a path that we can take to get to, even our highest of goals, right? Goal number one is, automatic playoff berth, and, obviously a win this Friday, then, guarantees that, and that, checks that off. But then, home playoff game, district championship, all that type of stuff. All that's still on the table. It's just a weirder path than what we would have liked. But it's still there. And so, that's great. But at the same time, it's just one of those deals of, yeah, like, we still want to be the best version of ourselves on Friday night. And we just got to make sure that we take a big step this week.
And it's a trip over on 9 and down on 63 to New Hampton Friday night. What are you expecting out of the Chickasaws?
Yeah, Coach Pemble's, taking over his first year over here as being the head coach. Obviously, he's been there for a long time. He's, they're trying to do some different things. Offensively, they're, doing some similar stuff to what we do on the offensive side, which is good for, our defense in terms of they've seen some of that stuff in terms of formations and so forth there. But, they've got a great tailback in Siri that does a lot of good things. Roush throws a good ball and is just a tough kid, good athlete. And they've had success in other things, right? State championship, appearance in baseball, where those kids, a lot of those baseball guys are on the football team, and other sports where they've been successful or they've won games, and so they've got that idea of winning, and so forth. So we've just got to make sure we understand, they're playing for a playoff berth too. They get that second win, that's big for them, and sets them up for then kind of a winner take all type deal for them in their last game too. So there's a lot on the table for them, and it's their senior night, all that stuff. And so it'll be a battle for us. It'll be a good physical test for us that hopefully we take a good step forward in, and we're excited for that.
All right, Coach, hopefully you can get back on the winning track this Friday night. Keep guys healthy. We wish you best of luck.
Yeah, appreciate it. Go Cadets.
Justin Denner, head coach of the Crestwood Cadets, brought to you by Wilson Custom Tree Service.